Okay, well, our first subscriber question, fittingly, is an inflation hedge. It's Gold Resource Corp. Could you speak to that a little bit, specifically with respect to the spinoff of Fortitude Gold and how that leaves Gold Resource Corp?
Yeah, sure. So the spinoff is complete. That's a great observation there. So we are getting a lot of questions about it. I would say that, like all resource companies, it could be an inflation hedge, and they are relatively able to pass along their cost increases to their consumers. But I think post spinoff, GORO is a bit of a mixed bag. Its share price reflects this as well. If you look at it year to date, it's down, and the shares can't really seem to gain much traction.
Yeah, I noticed in your April newsletter, you've taken a bit more of a bearish tone towards it.
Yeah, I have, and I'm not overly bearish, but I'm less optimistic on it, is what I would say. It's still on a buy list, and I don't plan on changing that. But the spinoff definitely created two very different entities with different growth profiles. And in Goro's case, the outlook for this year is flat versus last year. And that sounds okay, but you have to remember that in much of Q2 last year, they were shut down because the Mexican government implemented a COVID shutdown across the mining sector in Mexico. So it should have been an easy comparable to beat or match or exceed, and they're not going to do that. So that's a little unfortunate. And then longer term, they haven't provided a production outlook past this year. So that's also a negative. All that being said, their land package is absolutely huge. They have started doing exploratory drilling again in Mexico for the first time in years. Prior to this, it was all in Nevada, where the spinoff is now complete. And they're producing a lot of commodities which the world wants or needs. They have a lot of silver, lead, zinc, copper, and a bit of gold. And as you know, all those commodities are certainly in demand right now.
Right. Well, any thoughts with regard to their epithermal vein system and, the relatively short mine life, I think about 5 years? How does that play into your analysis?
Yeah, that's a great question. A lot of people ask that, whether it be people on the conference call talking to management, or you see it in analyst reports. And I think it's a fair observation. I would say an epithermal vein system like this is a mixed blessing. Yes, it has a low mine life for sure, but the mine life is also very stable. If you go back and look at filings, corporate filings from 5 years ago, 6, 7 years ago, you'll see that the mine life was roughly where it is now. So that's just the nature of this epithermal vein system. It's very hard and challenging to explore around it, but the more you dig it out, the more ore you generally tend to find, and that maintains the mine life. So it will eventually run out. All ore deposits do, but my guess is that in 5 years, the mine life will be similar to where it is now.
Okay. In that case, could you maybe summarize for us your views on GORO? How would you characterize
I
it?
would say it's a slow, steady eddy. They're not in terminal decline, and they're not growing either. It's just steady as she goes.
Fair enough. Okay. Well,